Toma, Vamos a hacerlo esquizo. Disfruto un panorama, el drama sin pantalla plana. Al devenir del marketing, un arlequín del Sinaí me habla. Duendes y hadas, me apaga la pava, me aclara la rabia importada. Es la peor cruzada. Prostituta con sueños de monja, todavía se moja. Le meto reja hasta con la guata floja. Por las huevas te acomplejas, donde se aloja el mal. Si se te oxida el maxilar en orar el Corán. Ese dolor es temporal, cholaco. Que yo no me llamo Lito y tú no eres polaco. Pero está flaco un día más que peco. Seré guanaco ni huevón en nuco. Suficiente con tu grupo y el muñeco es trapo. Abro cerebro, no los lavo. Al buen entendedor todo le queda claro. Los malos triunfaron, no es de Cristo la codicia por el oro, las hogueras, los esclavos. Tampoco tanto tarado robando estrado. ¿Quién es el jurado? Tu pecado es el bocado. El predicado estaba equivocado. Ha guardado la paz, vas a pegarla de santa porque la fe es un mercado que está ligado al Estado. Puño que se levanta, queman las llantas, queman la renta. Esa revolución nadie la inventa. Con casi 30 y sigue pensando en ventas. Pura mierda, se encuentra Dios en tus palabras. Las mías son puertas porque me tientas al instinto. Planta que me alimentó, pronto alimento en plantas. Entiendo el ciclo, no paga el circo. Menos de 5 desde ese disco en brinco. No era distinto ni en el intro. Bro, en esta ocasión lo que diva tu mandíbula me llega a la glándula. La farándula no es mi rubro, mi otro yo defeca en la meca, la métrica, la discoteca. Solo un hipócrita predica poca ética. ¿Y tú qué tal? Bro, en esta ocasión lo que diga tu mandíbula me llega a la glándula. La farándula no es mi rubro, mi otro yo defeca en la meca, la métrica, la discoteca. Solo un hipócrita predica poca ética. ¿Y tú qué tal? ¿Quieres ser fighter, tener aguante, que la gente levante la mano al verte, sentirte importante? Pero primero tienes que pararte. Pueden golpearte tan fuerte que vas a tener que meterte cepillo por el culo para poder limpiarte los dientes. Te empalagas de la sociedad y sus llagas. En la nada naufraga como una plaga que todo lo traga. ¿Quién eres tú para saber que es prole si no pagas lo que comes? Sigue en tu mundo de anime, si no te me arrimes. Tu novela no se eleva al cine. Por más que alucines, patanes son patines. A veces 13 te quieren coser, entonces no camines si no conoces. Si te importa más lo que dicen que lo que haces, posiblemente fracases y termines con frases en alquiler. Sé que no soy líder, tampoco dealer. No soy Fidel ni Miller, solo el que escribe por una patria grande. Libre de evangelios, demonios y ogros. Es todo tu odio, cara a cara cambias de floro. Saco tu esfera posera de globo. Si en tu parodia la creas, faltan ideas. Guardo metáforas aéreas para dejarle tarea por si perreas. Si uno rapea y el que se recursea es el que te marquetea, te pulsea y te pasea. Plaza Bea ya pejamea. A la cana con tu chicha como con Magali. Prospecto de Cipriani, no llegarás ni a Noni con tu colita de pony. Lo hago con pana y sin company, mejor pa' ti. Falsos MCs morirán en flashes como Lady Jesús. Revolucionario, mochilero, séptimo hijo de un obrero. Conoció el amor donde el clero gasta su dinero. Pero soy pordiosero del saber en una torre de Babel. Dejo este papel, único placer post-mortem. Obtén la fama con tu farsa y piensa. El cuarto clavo es tu iglesia. Me recordaron cierta tendencia a perder la elegancia. A tu vacío pasión por popularidad. Solo pon un .com, te compraron. Toma, 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 Rap sigue siendo un trulo en busca de fósforo. Respiro áspero y caen las máscaras del circo. Mirar dentro de sí, dejando nada entre paréntesis. La dosis de un lápiz psicosomático. Manías atrapadas en calumnias de columnas amarillas. Concubinas y abortistas de categoría. Los mantengo al día. 2008. Resistencia
Él murió en la cruz por tus pecados y por los míos. Para decirle a nuestro Dios:
hablas pura hue, la grasó, hablas pura hue.
Y quiero decirte en esta noche:
y te saludan y después a tus espaldas te están tirando. El muñeco es trapo.
Saludo especial para la gente de Perú. Pedro voy para Rapper del Sur.
No te llamas Lito, yo no soy polaco. Tanto has hablado, comprado.
Bueno, el autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black Sumenta, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltóme. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flojo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Eleve mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tablet? Juro por mis aguas que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por Pico Sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle tacoplón. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Sheep, Black Sea Metal de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, so bloom.
Nero Luigi, man, desde Peña, a la victoria para que sepa. Incas Mo, it's money gang, gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lenny, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo un quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. Yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás. Yeah. La calle limeña aquí nadie la dueña, ya nada es igual. Yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Tiene que respetar. Yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás. Yeah. La calle limeña aquí nada le duele, ya nada es igual. Yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Si yo soy tu papá, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cinco Mob, negro. Yeah, Cinco Mob, nigga. Yeah, Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, yeah. It's money gang, 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 yeah.
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD Brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirve ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociéramos de esta parte mejor interprete Gaspar de esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Que a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clon de clon en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no soy el patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fue por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Yango en la maldita casa, Plaza de Reyes, papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Mental, hip hop peruano. Rasgo en la maldita base. Yao, yao, yao.
van aquellos que más quieres? Pregunto para dónde irán. Es uno menos en el barrio y uno más para el recuerdo. De pocos a pocos mi gente se desvanece, pero casi siempre son los que no lo merecen. La muerte de un inocente, lo sabe la gente, pero nadie dice que él se lo llevó. Se rompió un corazón, lágrimas de madre, sangre en sus manos y no lo comprende el padre. Recuerda que la vida no tiene un valor y grita al cielo, mejor recógeme a mi Señor. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, es que el amor ahora está presente. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, es que el amor ahora está presente.
Dime dónde están los que desaparecieron, los que no volvieron, los que de uniforme se vistieron. ¿Dónde están los que ya no están del soldado Juan, que una bala traspasó su cuerpo con el ruido de una? Son historias como mi prima Gloria, que su cuerpo no aparece pero queda su memoria. Niña de 5 años que su aliento ya es agónico, encuentra cuerpo pero envuelto está en periódico. La vida es una tumba que la suerte te depara, la muerte está en la mano de aquel hombre que dispara. Padre que espera a su hijo que vive en la urbe, pero al día siguiente lo recogerá en la morgue. Se cuentan horas, días y también los calendarios. Primo, nadie sabe si caerás en cementerio, como mi amigo Mario que jugaba a ser sicario, hasta mató a su hermano y lo tomó como algo serio. Se cuentan horas, días y también las estadísticas. Para la policía un expediente más en balística. La lista aumenta y también el desenfreno, como aquel niño que golpeado en el hogar se siente ajeno. Le pone freno y toma la decisión, sacando la pistola de su padre en el cajón. Su lápida ahora pinta: hijo mío, te queremos, y la muerte nos permite, algún día nos veremos.
Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, es que el amor de ahora está presente. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, es que el amor de ahora está presente.
¿Dónde van? ¿Dónde? Dime dónde van las almas que se pierden en el camino de la vida. ¿Dónde van? Dime dónde van. Se detienen pulsos y otros por impulsos para el diván. Penas que se cuentan en la esquina, cuidado con la neblina que la muerte se avecina por la acera.
Joven estudiante muere en una balacera.
Otro lío de pandillas que en el diario aparecerá. La vida se desaparece como el humo de un cigarro, locos disparando desde un carro. Otra vida que se pierde bajo el cielo gris. No se puede ser feliz cuando gente muere en un desliz. Como Marco que soñaba con ser narco, viajar en barco y olvidarse de las penas en su cuarto. Pero cada vez que parcha ya se siente harto, y su corazón marchito marcha para el infarto. Almas en oferta como Berta, se acuesta en una cama pero en otra se despierta. Son 14 años y ya perdió la niñez. Se desaparece un viernes y no regresa en 2 o 3. Coleccionando amores, sin importancia a los rumores. Malos menores, sin temores y sin valores, deambulando en cada sitio, con el futuro a convertirse en un graffiti.
Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré.
Hey, shalom, family. Shalom. Lord willing, y'all doing well. Excuse my throat. Just when I'm getting on, I'm losing my breath. Give me a second real quick. Let me get something to drink. Okay, maybe that might just help me. I got something new for y'all. Here.
Attention, choppers! Today's special is civil unrest. Let me pay attention!
The reason I got that, fam, is because I'm always saying, let me show you something. Let me show you something, right? So it's like every time I think of that show, man, and I sure don't want to sound like the guy, because I'm not the guy. I'm just not the guy, you know? I'm not funny like the guy, let alone look like the guy or want to be the guy. But anyhow, let's see what we got. Is it just, I don't think there's anybody watching, man, because I tend to monitor my the class in case. So I'm assuming that one Lone Ranger is me. And maybe, just maybe not me. Because sometimes I can tell and then sometimes I can't. Sometimes it looks like nobody's watching. I don't know when to start or where to begin. Anyhow, all right. So, fam, if you guys remember from the morning, right? Yeah, I'm gonna take a little kind of slow moment to start. 'Cause we got some time, fam. We got some time, okay? Today was a really hectic day, and a lot of it had to do with just what's going on here at the home front, you know. And yeah, let me do this. So because of that, I don't know why it does that. Get rid of that. I just do it like this. I just leave it like so, dude. You know what I mean? Just do this. Anyhow, I got up in the morning and guys, I usually do the Friday to Saturday, and but I couldn't really do the whole day because I had people here over at the house. As you know, if you guys are listening to my whole conversation, I hope that thing works out, man. Because this it's a headache. I'm not, kind of like in limbo. Not really ready to move, and it's like not really ready to sell. There was a lot of repairs I had to do, and I don't do construction, but I know how to, and it's not my cup of tea. So obviously, is it can be a headache and time consuming, and I got to work, I make money, got to pay the bills. Anyhow, so I did the morning class. I stopped at 9, I believe. I did say I was going to come back at 1, but then I still had to talk to the people that were here that made negotiations on my behalf. And we were talking numbers, so it took time. Then I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to leave the class, but I'm like, no, I'm not even all there yet, man. I'm still like thinking of what I just talked about. So I had to wait. And I think this is a good time. I think it's a good time. So, shalom to my so-called Hispanics, Native Indians, you indigenous of these lands, you brothers and sisters, my beloved. I will tell you this, family, that I think the word is getting out. It's always lovely to see other people teaching or showing or doing what you do. And Lord willing, they do it in all sincerity and not being like that Diotrephes out of vainglory. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, it's not that, man. Lord willing is for the purpose of the body. So, give the time when the time is due. All right, let's see. Let me see who's on. See who's on board. Man, nobody's watching, bro. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I got a video for you. Since no, matter of fact, here.
Attention, choppers! Today's special is civil unrest. Let me pay attention!
All right, so let me go ahead and begin. I was gonna show the other video first, but you know what? I'm gonna stay in my pattern, and I tend to stay that way. If I stand that way, if I stick to my pattern, then it'll work out. Okay, so remember, we left off last class. We left off in Jeremiah 6, 21 through 25, And then we had read Broken Spear, pages 30 and 31. That's where we ended. Remember it's right here. So let's just kind of briefly read it. It says, Jeremiah 6:22, thus say the Lord, behold, the people come from the north, and a great nation shall be raised from the side of the earth, meaning from Europe, right? They shall lay hold on bow and spears. Listen to that. They shall lay hold on bow and spears. They are cruel. You see, we had bows. We had spears, right? Or they had bows. They had spears. They had all. They had both. We see from the tapestries, the Moors had the bows and arrows too. And they had spears. It says they are cruel and have no mercy. We know of that. We know, obviously, from going back to 1492, we understand now that they had no mercy for our people. If you recall how they would just come in and surprise us at a party and just start chopping us up, man. Their voices roared like the sea, as you know that they came on boats. And when you are, have a cavalry, right? That cavalry sounds really loud. It sounds like if you hear it from afar, it's stomping the ground. It makes it it's like a vibration. It sounds like the sea. And watch this, and they ride upon horses. You see what's my point? Their voices roared like the sea, and they ride upon horses. They set in array as men for war against thee, O daughter of Zion. We have heard the fame thereof. Our hands wax feeble. Anguish had taken hold of us. But here's the point. We have heard the fame thereof. And we know that in the Broken Spear, page 30 and 31, it talks about how Moctezuma heard of the rumor. And he was afraid. We have heard the fame thereof. Our hands wax feeble. Anguish had taken hold of us. And pain as a woman in travail. Go not forth into the field, nor walk by the way, for the sword of the enemy and fear is on every side. We were given a warning by our king. Didn't matter, man. O daughter of my people, gird thee with sackcloth, wallow thyself in ashes, make the mourning as for an only son. Most bitter lamentation, for the spoiler shall suddenly come upon us. And didn't that happen in 1492? You see, fam, so now when you read Jeremiah 14 and 2, it makes sense. Judah mourneth, the gates are of languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of the Jerusalem is gone up. Why? Because they're in languish. Death is dark. They are black unto the ground, meaning they are full of fear. They're full of fear. They're mourning. They see death. They see languish. Oh, they're not like languish, death, fire, plagues. Oh, and I'm black. No, come on, man. No. Así como dice Derbez, no sean lelos. Jeremiah 6:25. Where we're in 24. 25. Go down for no, that's not it. Verse 26. O daughter of my people, gird thee with sackcloth and wallow thyself in ashes. Make thee mourning as for an only son. Most bitter lamentation, for the spoiler shall suddenly come upon us. Why? This is sadness, fam. Kidding me? That's just the beginning. That's where we left off. That's last class. That's last class. Now watch. Watch it. All right, so this is Jack Forbes again, like I told you, where we left off. And here, this dude is giving him an interview, and he talks about the destruction of our people through plagues. Okay, it's 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Let's listen in.
Said, quote, the 16th century perpetrated the greatest genocide in human history. In 1500, the world population is approximately 400 million, of whom 80 million inhabit the Americas. By the middle of the 16th century, out of these 80 million, there remain 10.
Yeah. Well, that's the real Holocaust. Very comparable to what the Nazis did to the Jews in recent times, if not even more severe.
But you're talking from 80 million to 10 million.
That's right. Now, a lot of those people died because of new diseases that were introduced, but that doesn't really let the Spaniard off the hook. Because what the Spaniard...
Before you go to that, the diseases, what are you talking about?
Well, apparently syphilis, for example, well, some people think that syphilis originated in the Caribbean, perhaps, but I don't believe that at all for reasons that I won't go into here. But I think syphilis was brought in, but also smallpox, measles, and a number of other epidemic diseases.
Okay.
But the reason those diseases, I think, had such a disastrous effect was because the Spaniard drastically interfered with the ecology. Now, we're beginning to learn today that you can't mess with the ecology of an area. Even introducing new animals and plants can disrupt the whole thing, let alone forcing people away from their traditional villages, trying to make them eat different kinds of food or not enough food. And one of the big factors that happens to native labor and to all labor in systems of extreme oppression is that they're not fed enough. They don't get enough caloric intake. Studies of the Californian missions, for example, the Spanish missions in California, show that the Indian people in those missions were being underfed. They were malnourished. So it's no wonder that diseases then come along and take their toll. In addition to which, the Spaniards, in the early stages especially, were fighting a lot of battles with Indian people, and a lot of people were killed through military action. And because the Indian population was quite heavy, in central Mexico, for example, there were 20 million people. Well, it's only in this century, in recent years, that there are as many people in Mexico today, in that part of Mexico, as there were before Cortez reached Mexico in the 1520s. Some of the West Indian islands, like Haiti, there are estimates as high as 1 million or more people living on the island. Although we don't know exactly, but there were a lot of people. And so the Spaniards believed at first that they could just kill people off very rapidly. They could always go get more. And but then, of course, that proved to be disastrous. Now, I should mention that the native population has recovered, of course, somewhat in modern times. But even in the United States, for example, we still don't have as many native people as we probably did at the time that Columbus arrived.
How many are?
All right, fam. Lots was said. Lots was said here, but one of the main points, well, a couple, to be quite frank with you. First, you mentioned the plagues. Okay, mentioned diminishing. You mentioned how our people were pretty much not able to withstand, those foreign diseases that we were subject to. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about that, you wonder, what does that have to do with the Bible? Why do you want to bring that up if the Bible doesn't say anything about that? Really? Okay, let's find out. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 36. And remember, fam, this is technically it should have been part 2, but I called it part 2.5 because I used the link in the morning. I probably should have created a new one. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're here now. Okay, Leviticus chapter 26, verse 36. It reads, "And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the land of their enemies." Why? Because if you remember in last class, and even during the week, I have showed y'all how they did take us into slave ships in the land of our enemies, okay? And the sound of a shaking leaf shall chase them. What that means is that when they're going around picking us up from island to island, we are so fearful. Even the sound of a shaking leaf, which is no one, it could just be the wind, freaks the hell out of us. And they shall flee as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursueth. Meaning, we're going to be under extreme fear. Fear. Okay? So now watch this. Check this out. Verse 37. And they shall fall upon one upon the other, meaning when death comes upon, as if it were before sword, when none pursue it, and you shall have no power to stand before your enemies. Now we're talking about how is it can you fall one upon another, but it's not a sword now, and yet no one pursues you, and ye shall perish among the heathen. Perish. Perish. What you mean I'm going to perish? What does the word perish mean? Let's find out what perish means. Oh, please, not now. Perish. I may not read that long, fam, because I'm dealing with some stuff regarding the props here. So I'll do my best to stick around as long as I can, okay? Perish. It says suffers death typically in a violent, sudden, untimely way. Complete ruin, destruction of rubber, foodstuff, and organic substance loose and not normal qualities. Rot or decay. Damn, man. And ye shall perish among the heathen. We heard Jack Forbes talk about how we perished. Only 10 million of us were still left. So much, around 10 million. You know where else we find it? Amos 4:9. I have smitten you with blasting and mildew. What is mildew? It's rot. Mildew, a form of fungus, like gangrene. It's more of actually mildew to the plants. A distinguished form closely related to counterparts mold, largely by color. Mold, mildew. I have smitten you with blasting with mildew. And your gardens and your vineyards and your fig trees and your olive trees increase. The palm worms devour them, yet have ye not returned to me. But I'm not looking for that one. I'm not looking for that one. No, I'm not looking for that one. Give me a second, fam. I thought I had that one. I had a precept. Give me a second, fam. Give me a second, fam. Where you at? I had it here. Yeah, it should be. Oh, I know why now. My bad. My bad. My apologies, family. My apologies. I meant to go here. Here. Sometimes you wonder why, and like, how come he scattered us, man? I don't know why he scattered us, man. Jeremiah 14:10. Watch this. Thus say the Lord unto this people. Thus have they loved to wander, meaning going into other nations, going into other things that are not pertaining to us, going into other gods that belong to other nations, customs. They have not refrained their feet. And he says, therefore, the Lord doth not accept them. He will not remember their iniquity and visit their sins. So how? By scattering us. Why? Because we love to wander. We love to refrain our feet from going to other nations. That's just very common for you Hispanics and Native Indians, man. You always want to do the same thing the thing that others want to do, except there's something that the Most High pertains or has reserved for us. You mentioned perishing, right? Perishing, family. Let's not forget. We're not forgetting. When you're sent into other nations, you perish quickly. How do you think we died, man? Diseases, You don't you think that if the diseases happened here, you don't think it would have happened elsewhere when they took us other places? Deuteronomy 28:20. Here's what he's talking about. And the Lord shall send upon thee, Deuteronomy 28:22. And the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and a fever and with an inflammation. Now we know when it comes to smallpox, right, that destroyed a good portion of our people. So now, keep in mind that last class we're seeing the arrival of these heathens. Now we're seeing the actual chemical warfare or biological warfare or the actual assault on our people. And one of the ways to destroy us was, through biological warfare, getting us sick. Lots of our gente died. When you have like smallpox, it's almost like, if not the same as chicken pox. You are weak. You can't move. You got itch everywhere. I mean, imagine never having to deal with that. Your immune system wasn't prepared for it. It just attacks you. It says here, the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, because that consumes you. And with the fever, and you get fevers. And with inflammation, like that pus, and it burns, man. Like, that itch. Oh, if y'all guys never had it, this is horrible. And on top of that, with the sword, now you can't fight for yourself. And with blasting, you mean cannons? And with mildew, now you can't even eat your food because now it's rotten. And they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Until you're done. Until you're finished. Finito. Así se dice. Oh, that is just what the Italians say. It's crazy. And they shall pursue thee until thou perish. How many of us died? That's why it was being said by the brother in the video that now lately we've been multiplying. But it wasn't so, Ben. It wasn't so. Let me read this one here. I want to read this. Yeah, let's go. You see, fam, even then, well, I mean, there was not much we could do about it, honestly. So I don't know if I want to read it. I'll read it to y'all, fam, but I don't. Look at this real quick. It says here, know for a certainty that the Lord God will no more drive out any of these nations before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides and thorns in your eyes, until ye perish from off the good land that the Lord your God had given you. That's after. It's not within my timeline right now. It's why I didn't really want to show it, fam. But I wanted to read it to you guys, just at least to show it that I'm not trying to hide anything particular. It just wasn't in my timeline. All right. So now let me show you this real quick. I'm gonna move a little fast today, fam, because I do have something pending here at the house. It's just one of them days, I had a lot of people here. Let's see. We're gonna watch a video called 1492: The Catastrophic Cruelty and Greed of the European Colonists. European colonists. Let's see what they got to say. Give me a second.
He answered in English.
We're gonna go for 5 minutes, all right? Watch this real quick. Here it goes.
This channel is part of the History Hit Network.
With the discovery of the New World in 1492, a war began against the American Indians, against their culture, their language, and their religion. That war has continued until today, but now is entering a new phase. The first Europeans in the New World were greeted with curiosity and in many places with kindness. But the whites responded with an almost inconceivable brutality. These, said one, were the horrors of hell, hanging, disemboweling, burning alive. In 1542, Bartolomé de las Casas wrote, "The Europeans have become so anesthetized to human suffering by their greed that they've ceased to be human in any meaningful sense of the word. They have honed to perfection the art of cruelty in order to wipe human beings from a large part of the globe." But the repression of the last 500 years has continued to meet resistance from the jungles of Amazonia to the cities of North America. Over this vast continent in the century after Columbus, it's estimated that 9/10 of the native people died of war, famine, and disease. Whole peoples vanished forever. One of them was the Ona in Tierra del Fuego. The Ona were largely exterminated by European gold prospectors and sheep farmers a century ago. These last survivors were filmed in 1913. The British sheep ranchers who poured into Ona lands said openly that a sheep was worth more than an Indian life. They hunted the Ona like animals, even ripping open pregnant women to claim their 1 pound for a pair of Ona ears or an Indian skull. Not one of the Ona is alive today. Only their skulls remain as anthropological exhibits in Western museums. Attacks on Indians are still commonplace throughout South America. At Christmas 1991, 20 Indians from the Pais people in Colombia, including 4 women and 4 children, were murdered by land grabbers tied in with Colombia's heroin mafia. Murdered simply because they wouldn't vacate their land. Up in the north of Colombia, the Ica people lost 3 of their best leaders, their wise men, in December 1990, murdered by paramilitaries associated with the army and the big landowners. These violent events have brought the Indian peoples of Colombia together to petition the president himself. They got little sympathy.
I have asked many people, even the very president of the republic, Cesar Gaviria Trujillo, to make the denouncement. In my statement, I said some of these words to the president. That's enough. For 500 years, that's enough. I said to him, what is our enormous sin? What is our enormous debt that we should deserve so much suffering and death, Mr. President? But his answer was very brief. Our statement was around 30 minutes, and he answered it in less than 5 minutes. Who, he asked, is the savage? Who is the savage? Who are the savages in this country? Is it us, or is it our adversaries? I understood it like that. According to them, civilization has advanced. If that is civilization, then we are in a bad way in this country. We are in a very bad way if civilization means to kill Indians. Never in my life did I imagine that you would be facing such a sad reality. Never.
Hey, fam, and you know the reason I let that play, because like I said, I'm trying to stay with the timeline, but that's the reality till we see till this very day, you know. Like when we have scoffers coming over here and doing all kinds of sort of things. Listen, they still look at us like that. Who are we to question the system? You guys are uncivilized. You guys are Mexicans. You guys are beaners. You guys are still eating tacos. We go to Tijuana and we see how you live. You guys are third world. Don't they say Mexico is a third world country? Are y'all family not wrapping your mind around the third world concept? That means your third world mentality. And whether you live here or not, you still related to third world. It means you're kind of you're connected to that third world mentality because your parents are third world. Your grandparents are third world. You are the number one target. Assimilate or assassinate. The characters that the Most High had given you. And it says here, for a certainty, Joshua 23:13. Know for certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations before you. But they shall be a snare and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides and thorns in your eyes, until ye perish from off this good and land which the Lord your God had given you. So this is a recurring thing. I wanted to make sure that you realize, though we're in the time of 15, 20, 15, 15, this ain't gonna stop, fam. This is just the beginning. The decimation of our people is just the beginning. Let's go to let's see where you're at. Sort of construction. Let me see. I think it's a book right here. Give me a second. Short destruction, page 31. A second. Let's see. How come it's not finding it? This is up here. Give me a second, family. Show the count. Page 31. Give me a second, family. I have that page. Okay, let me see. I think it's here. 81. Oh, come on. Well, fam, apparently I'm going to have to send this back over here. Where are you at? Where's my phone? Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to do a different way. I'm going to have to do something else. All right, let's start with this one then. Okay, I'll go here first. Fine. I'll go here first. Since you're going to be difficult with me, computer, you always do this to me. You always do this to me. All right, so let's go here. This is page 40 and 41, all right? Bartolomé de las Casas, the short account of the destruction. There's three different types, fam. You got that one in Spanish, you got this one in English, and there's like two other types of editions or editions, I guess, yeah. Yeah, edition, not editions like an addition. I mean edition in ED. Let's say it'll go to page. Okay. There it goes, page 40. We're gonna read right here, okay? Actually, no, let's go up here. I'm looking for the year, date. Yeah, we're gonna go here and then we're gonna end at the 1523. That's kind of where we're at, okay? It says here, page 40, it says the most insidious pestilence dreamed up by this governor was the system whereby he granted license to Spanish to demand slaves from native caciques and nobles. This development had gone more to ravage that country than anything else. Demand for 50 slaves at a time were made every 4 to 5 months. Wherever an individual obtained permission, a license from the governor to take on such demand, The demand always accompanied by the threat that if the requisite number of slaves was not produced, the noble concern would be burned alive and thrown to wild dogs. Since slavery is practically unknown among the local population, even their caciques having at most 2 or 3 or 4 of them, the lords would themselves have to find the slaves. The first, they might round up all orphans they could find. Then they might ask any family with 2 or 3 children to surrender one, and a family with 3 to produce 2, thereby fulfilling the demand made of them by the tyrant of their midst. But they did so against a background of wailing and gnashing of teeth. For these people appeared to entertain a love for their children which surpassed that of any other people in the world. Are we not like that to this very day, fam? Are we not like that to this very day? We love our children, man. It says here, but they did so against a background of wailing and gnashing of teeth. For these people appear to entertain a love for their children which surpasses that of any other people in the world. Why do you think, just to kind of bring you back in the timeline of today, they separated us from our children? Why do you think they took our children? Because they know that that's a definite deficit in our spirit. Since demands of this nature were so frequent, the whole region was devastated within the space of a few years. During 6 or 7 of the years between 1523 and 1533, 5 or 6 slaving vessels patrolled the coast and cater off vast numbers of these innocent to be sold in Panama and Peru, where they all perished. Damn. See? Indeed, experience shows that time and time again that these people die very quickly once you remove them from their native lands. You wonder why people are migrating over here? Things that make you go home. Especially as they often are forced to go without food while, remember, go without food while still being made to do a full day's work. Jack Force talked about that. They didn't feed us anything and still made us work, which is why we perished. Those who buy and sell them having no other thought in their heads but the work these slaves can be forced to undertake. In this fashion, more than 500,000, I repeat, more than 500,000 poor souls, each of them as free as you or me, have been taken from their homelands. 500,000, fam. On top of that, a further 5 or 600,000 have so far been killed. How many so-called African Americans supposedly were brought to America in the transatlantic slave trade? 300,000. Just a side point. Either during, and you want reparations, either during the course of the hellish fighting initiated by the Spaniards or direct result of horrendous conditions in which they had been imprisoned. It says, and the carnage continues to this day. We saw it right now, the video. And all this devastation that's taken place over the 14 years and in the whole province of Nicaragua today, once I have said, among the most densely populated place on the face of the earth, there remain only 4,000 or 5,000 people. And every day sees even some of these succumb to the work they are made to do and the personal abuse to which they are subjected every day of their lives. It hasn't changed, family. This still goes on till this very day. Till this very day. Wow. Let's see what we got. We're going to read Broken Spear, and I believe that's it. No, and I got a couple more scriptures, and then we're going to call that a part 2. Because I'm going to go heavy on part 3. And I'll probably do part 3 sometime during the week or Saturday or Sunday. Depends what the Spirit moves. We're going to look at Broken Spear. Page. Let's see. There it goes. There it goes. Right here. No wonder I missed it. Okay, fam. If you recall, when we talk about the scriptures about, Deuteronomy 28, right? 28:49. We know that what they would do, right? It says here, verse 50, not 49. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Okay? What do I mean by that? Because these people are not going to give a damn about us. Ezekiel 23:25, it says, and I will set my jealousy against thee, meaning us, and they, meaning the other nation, shall deal furiously with thee, meaning us. They shall take away thy nose and thine ears, meaning they're going to use some swords and start chopping us up in pieces, fam. And thy remnant shall fall by the sword, and they shall take away thy sons and thy daughters, and thy residue shall be devoured by the fire. We heard that in the video. Watch this real quick. Broken spear. It says here, this is when he heard about them coming over here, right? He was terrified to learn about the cannons. This is Moctezuma. So let me read it because I want to make sure that we can bring us back to where we were, to where we left off from the first part. It says, when the sacrifice was finished, the messengers reported to the king. They told him how they had made their journey and what they had seen and what food the strangers ate. Moctezuma was astonished and terrified by the reports, and the description of the strangers' food astonished him above all else. He was also terrified to learn how the cannons roared, how its noise resounded, how it caused one to faint and grow death, right? It says, a thing like a messenger ball of stone comes out of its entrails. It comes out shooting sparks and raining fires. The smoke that comes out with it has a pestilent odor, like that of rotten mud, like mildew. This odor penetrates even the brain, causes a great discomfort. If the cannon is aimed against a mountain, the mountain splits and cracks open, and blasting, just like the scriptures. If it aimed against a tree, it shatters the tree into splinters, blasting and mildew. This is the most unnatural sight, as if the tree had exploded within. I told y'all, watch this. So now we left off last class in that. Now we're here today. Now we're knowing 1523, 1520. Now, remember, we're hearing these guys are doing these things. So now guess what they do? They sneak up. The messenger also said their trappings and arms are made of iron. They dress in iron. They wear iron casts on their heads. Their swords are iron. Their bows are iron. Their shields are iron. Their spears are iron. We read all of that, right? They carry their deer on their backs. Wherever they go, wherever they wish. These deers, our Lord, are as tall as the roof of a house. So we learn now, right? So now they're coming. It says here, their dogs are enormous with flat ears, long dangling tongues. The color of their eyes are burning yellow, and their eyes flash with fire and shoot sparks. Their bellies are hollow, their flanks long and narrow. They are tireless and very powerful. They hound here and there, panting, with their tongues hanging out, and they are spotted like a ocelot. When Moctezuma heard this report, he was filled with terror. That was Jeremiah 6. So we know that now, right? We know. But check this out. Let's go to Daniel 7, because Daniel saw this, fam. Daniel saw this. Daniel 7:7 reads, after this I saw the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. Now, listen, fam. I have a breakdown on this, but I don't want to lead us from this breakdown. So I'm just going to mention the fourth beast, which is these nations, these Europeans that came. They are terrible. They are dreadful. Okay? We know this for a fact. It says, and it had a great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake its into pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. This is a prophecy, fam. But this nation, Daniel saw them coming. The vision was fast from the beginning to the end. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, fam. That's why when you read Jeremiah 6:17, Moctezuma, when he heard this, man, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, maybe I'll just assume. I'm sure he had nightmares. I don't know if I read it somewhere. I know he had nightmares. You don't think that people were mourning now? They're expecting to be dead. Isaiah 46, I'm sorry, 47. We're going to finish. Isaiah 47. I would have done it longer, fam, but I got too much in my mind right now. So I sincerely apologize. Isaiah 47, verse 6, it says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance. I have given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Yes, they have. Deuteronomy 28:50. The Lord shall bring a nation against you from far, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, no show favor to the young. Says it here. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance. I gave them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. See, Babylon, you heathens here, Chaldeans, you know who I'm talking about. You both. Upon the ancient thou upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. You guys had no respect for our elders. And thou said, it shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things by thy heart, neither didst remember the latter thereof. You know what I'm telling you? This is what I'm noticing, fam. You Phoenicians, these Phoenicians, they want power again. They had power before. That there'll be a lady forever. They're in cahoots, fam, together. Like the song Together Forever and Ever. That sounded corny. Isaiah 42:24. Let's try to finish this off, fam. Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law, fam. That's why we're in this situation, man, because we just are hard-headed people. We prefer to do it our own. That's why he said, hey, you guys like to wander. So guess what? I'm scatter y'all everywhere. So then you can perish. Therefore, he had poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle. I don't want to read that. Let's stick to 24. Who among you will give? Who gave Jacob for a spoil in Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned? It was the Most High, fam. We got no reason to get mad at them. We need to know who the enemy is, and it's because for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. That's what happens. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I think the Most High is not going to be, oh yeah, sure, go ahead and break my laws. I love you. I'm a profitable child. Sirach 41:3 says, fear not the sentence of death. Let me read that again. Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee and that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh. Listen, fam, don't fear death. You know what you should fear? Not leaving a proper legacy. That's what you should fear. That's why it says, remember them that have been before thee and that come after thee. Don't fear death. Fear the fact that you leave no legacy behind. You just you're born and you perish. You do no work. You bring confusing doctrines. You go back and forth. You're not creative. You wanna, follow other people. You don't know your position. You don't know what your lot is. So then there's envy. Don't do that, fam. The children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. Y'all, listen, you guys are planting the seed for your family. You think you're in order. You're not. Because we know your spirit that you guys walk in. We see it. So don't fear death. Fear the legacy that you're leaving, not just with your family, but with brethren around you that see your actions and see just right through how fake you can be. I hope the shoe fits whoever it fits. Anyhow, let me get this real quick. And I'm going to read, and I'm going to show you guys something. Remember, I'm bringing you guys back and forth right now. This is important. We're in this timeline. 1520, 1515. All right? Right now, we're seeing these Europeans coming with horses. I'm going to show you in the next class, beginning next class, we're going to talk about Habakkuk 8, and I'm going to go deep into Habakkuk 8. Okay? That'll be part 3. Before I go, though, let me go here real quick. Give me a second. Be your heads. Hold on, fam. Give me a second. You know me, man. I like this book a lot. We're going to go to page 135. And then I'll show you guys a video real quick. We've come a long way, fam. You know what I mean? This colonialism has really, really done a little magic to our mind, to our spirit. Let's not forget what it comes with. Page 35. It says here in the bottom. No, let me go ahead here. Where are you? Okay, here goes. Meantime, however, the leaders of the rising realized that the various groups must be enlightened, meaning because of the fact that we've been through this. That's why there's a lot of, how can I say this, man? Do I want to go there? You know what? Let's just skip this. I don't want to go there. I want to stick to the point. It says here, those leaders who have fled from the useless political activity of the towns rediscovered politics no longer as a way of lulling people to sleep, nor as a means of mystification, but as the only method of intensifying the struggle and of preparing the people to undertake the governing of their country clearly and lucidly. The leaders of the rebellion come to see that even every large-scale peasant rising needs to be controlled and directed into certain channels. You see that, fam? The leaders of the rebellion come to see that even large-scale peasant risings need to be controlled and directed into a certain channel. When you talk about being controlled, means what? That's why, family, you need to know your enemy. Just when you think the enemy, or when you think you got control, no, he has control over you. We're dealing with principalities and powers, fam. They're directing the actual channel. Don't be fooled when you see these schools or Black Converse and, oh my God. Nah. This is all controlled chaos. These leaders are led to renounce the movement insofar as if it can be termed a peasant revolt and to transform it into a revolutionary war. Excuse me. Let me get some water. It says here, they discovered that the success of the struggle presuppose clear objectives, a definite methodology, and above all, the need for the mass of the people to realize that their unorganized efforts can only be a temporary dynamic. Watch this. You can only hold out for 3 days, maybe even for 3 months, or on the strength of a mixture of sheer resentment containing the mass of the people. Watch. But you won't win a national war. You'll never overthrow the terrible enemy machine. And you won't change human beings if you forget to raise the standard of consciousness of the rank and file. Neither stubborn courage nor file slogans are enough. What it's basically talking about is this point right here. You can hold on for 3 days or 3 months on the strength of admixture of sheer resentment, right? Containing the mass of people. But you won't win a national war with that resentment. You won't win a national war with that mindset because it's all being channeled. Family, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is the reason I'm reading this, because we're about to finish this. When I came into this walk, I was an angry man, okay? I had already wanted to change. I wanted to let go of my old ways, but I was angry still. So what better way to channel my anger? But that wasn't the right path. That was organized chaos. I was being misled. I was being what? Controlled and directed to express what they want me to express. Because they know that a certain amount would only go forward. But we cannot beat that beast with this mindset of one West doctrine. No, fam. There's no way to beat them. We've talked about what it actually takes. You so-called Hispanics, you real Hebrews of the Bible, okay? It takes sincere repentance. And I know that some of you guys think you're repenting, but no, you can tell that a lot of you guys aren't repenting. A lot of you. Some of you are still angry. Some of you are still bitter. Some of you still think you're gangsters. Some of you still think you want to do gangster online fights. Some of you guys think you want to go throw down in the street. Y'all ain't repenting. You still your old way. You're not a new creature. You're not a new creature in the Messiah, in his path, in his ways, in his teachings. What is it? Which one is it? I think it's 13:5. No. New creature. Second Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, meaning if you're in that walk Christ-like mentality of discipline and walking towards perfection, he is a new creature, meaning the old things are gone away, right? Old things are passed away. If you're an angry elf, don't call me an elf. Angry elf. Don't call me an elf. Angry elf. Because guess what? Behold, all things are become new. If you're still angry, and we could tell you guys display your whole you display your spirit. People see you, fam. When you deal with your neighbor, when you deal with your coworker, when you deal with your wife, your kids, people see how angry you are. They know you can't fake the funk. Come on, fam. Channeling anger is the corruption of death, is the corruption of life. Why do you think it says, if there's any bitterness in your soul, any bitterness, Hebrews 12:15, I was right. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root, any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. You're going to be like Esau. You see, Esau's bitter. He's a bitter man. You see, that's why you converts, y'all are bitter people. That's why a lot of y'all drink, because you're bitter. Your women are bitter. Y'all are bitter. And our people are bitter. So y'all need to start defining who the hell you are. Are you an Edomite? Are you a Canaanite? Or are you an Israelite? Because none of those really repent. And some of y'all act like you do and you don't. You say you're in the truth, and you're still getting drunk, still getting high, still using substance, still angry, still bitter, want to fight your friend, want to fight your brother, want to fight your brethren. You embarrass the hell out of each other. You can listen, fam. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna tell you this right now, fam. If I ever get to the point where I'm just so-called teaching, and I am literally not, and y'all get to talk to me, and you see that I'm not repenting, please unsubscribe and don't talk to me no more. Because, or at least help me, correct me, because that's not change. That's not growth. Me personally, I don't know why there's people out here trying to teach and y'all hate each other, man. I mean, that's the reason why I left in like big old camps, man. You know how many people disliked each other in those rooms? Everybody correcting each other. Matthew 18 every 5 minutes. Leviticus 19 every minute. Everybody wants to be a chief. Nobody wants to be a servant. That's unfortunate, fam. Anyways, listen, I'm gonna keep going and on and on and on. And I don't really want to. So let me show this video real quick, and then we'll be calling it a day. Because next chapter, I'm gonna bring up Habakkuk, fam.
Tonight,
and listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. My way of speaking, all right. Some of y'all don't like it, and quite frankly, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here, como te dice en español, no soy una morenita de oro que le quede bien a todos. All right. And by the way, I'm glad that some of y'all are teaching in Spanish now, bro. I'm so glad that I'm influencing a lot of brothers, man. All praises to the Most High God, not me. That's the Most High. I'm so grateful because now it's about time people are really teaching the so-called Hispanics in Spanish and in English. All praises. Anyways, I got the report. Fam, watch this.
Across Latin America, heartbreak and anger.
Porque estos hechos lamentables que desde luego tienen que ver con la situación de pobreza, de desesperación de hermanos centroamericanos, de mexicanos.
Officials in Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras hoping to give back some dignity to the men and women who died slowly in a hot truck. The tragedy in San Antonio now appears to be the deadliest human smuggling case in U.S. history.
Estamos convencidos de que nuestros migrantes merecen respeto, pero especialmente justicia.
But tragically, we've seen this before. The journey is dangerous long before migrants ever reach U.S. soil, as tighter immigration policies push people to extremes to avoid being caught. In December, 55 Central Americans were killed in the Mexican state of Chiapas when the truck they were crammed into flipped over. And yesterday's gruesome San Antonio discovery closely mirrors an incident in the city in 2017. 10 migrants died during grueling summer heat while packed into a truck carrying 39 people. The driver, James Matthew Bradley, was sentenced to life in federal prison without parole 2 years before. A dramatic rescue as sheriff's deputies rescued migrants gasping for air from a truck in Frio County, Texas. 39 migrants, including a 13-year-old boy, were saved from 100-degree heat.
The asylum system in the United States is broken.
Guadalupe Correa Cabrera is a professor at George Mason University.
Would you say that as a result, as you put it, of this broken system, that it's forcing so many undocumented migrants to take these dangerous alternatives to try and get into the country?
But the core issue in the United States is to solve and to fix this immigration and asylum system that is broken.
So far this year, authorities have encountered more than 1 million migrants along the southwest border. At least 650 died last year trying to cross Mexico's border into the U.S. The Rio Grande has proven a deadly trap for many, while heat, exhaustion, and exploitation await others crossing thousands of miles of seemingly endless desert. Those that make it are still far from salvation.
As unimaginable as this tragedy is, do you fear that until there's real change, we'll see more repeat of incidents like what we just saw in San Antonio?
Absolutely. This is what we were expecting. And we don't know how many of these incidents have not been covered by the media because migrants are invisible.
Dreams of a better life, too often ending in tragedy.
And she's right about that, fam. Migrants are invisible, family. Our people are very invisible in this society. Unfortunate. Hey, listen, it's 5 o'clock and the sun is not down on my end, fam. So what I'm gonna do is let's see who's on. Just one person, two, maybe. I got a question. Well, you're not saying anything, so I don't know who you are. Doesn't help. There's one class that I want y'all to watch. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show it again, fam. I'm gonna show this because I got more documentation, and I'm gonna do the Arcerit class next week. But I'm gonna do it like I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna return this way because we got some new documentation confirming and proving and just giving us even more love that we are of that region. Man, it's just amazing. The Most High's got, and the Most High's just looking out for us, family. You know what I'm saying? What can we say? What can we say? Now I got it in Spanish, and I know that some of y'all don't like in Spanish. Oh, let's see. There's one person. You guys want to watch Arsarith in Spanish or in English? Give you guys a choice. Because I want you to remember Arsarith, and I'm going to do a class next week again on Arsarith, our path through the East, which you only heard it here in this channel. For some reason, people don't want to teach that. I don't know why. And those that claim that they've been teaching it, they lie to you, fam. They just like the clout chase. Have them prove it. Anyhow, because it matters, family. This is work. This requires work. It requires research. So if somebody does work and I end up finding it, I do give credit where credit is due. Anyways, hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's me being funny. People, man. There's a couple. Brother, good to have. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, the only reason I'm playing is because it's sundown. It's not yet here on my end, okay? The sun is still out, and I don't want to stop. I might as well play it. This is an hour. Again, it's Arsarith, but look, I'm going to redo Arsarith next week. We have more documentation, more proof, and I even have a book. I've had it for, I'll tell you how it all worked out. But this particular person was against our people that supposedly he was trying to prove that we were not the 10 tribes of Israel. And yet his theory actually confirms that we're the Israelites of the Bible. I'm telling you, fam, it was beautiful. I'll tell you real quick. I got this book and I haven't read it. Honestly, I just bought it. It was cheap, $15. And I found, we're moving, right? We're getting ready, and they packed up my stuff, and this one ended up being wet. And I'm like, man, why'd you guys get wet? My book, blah, blah, blah. So I've been drying it for a couple of days. And yesterday, I'm sitting outside in the sun with it, and I'm kind of looking through I go, man, let me look through this thing, man. I haven't looked through this. And I find a gem, fam, and I found it in there. And I'm like, this book had to be wet in order for me to pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing to have it now. Confirms that we are directly of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all, fam. So here's what I'm going to do. Ready?
Attention, choppers! Today's special is civil unrest. Let me say attention!
All right, here we go. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Shalom, fam. Just checking, making sure that the sound is good. Dealing with a new system, so as you can see, okay, that's good. That's good. Sounds good. Okay, all right, cool. Bad. All right, perfect. All right, shalom, fam. All right, let's see. Hey, shalom, estudiante. All praises, brother. Good to have you here, man. Good to have you here. Let's kind of wait around a little bit, see if somebody else shows up. I'm not one to really wait on people, man. There's a couple people, man. It's all good for me. Just to let you know, brother, the class today is basically a deep dive in Arsarith. Okay, now the reason I'm doing this is because this has been a subject that's been mentioned or at least been asked of me in the last couple of days. Okay, now there's absolutely nobody else teaching how we got here the way that I'm showing it. Now, am I 100% correct? Oh, yes. Yahweh Barakatah, call halal. No, I can't tell you that. I can only tell you that the research has led me to that direction because I'm a logical man and I try to find reason because the scriptures talk about that. Find reason in the thing that you study. Make sense out of it. Now, this goes to all of you so-called teachers out there. Because I find it so ironic that some teachers now all of a sudden want to talk about, oh, yeah, the black man and the Hispanic man were not the same people, which is what I had suggested to certain people, and they hated me for it. But now all of a sudden it's being taught. Okay, so I'm going to ask you who say you don't believe in the 12-tribe chart. How the hell did we get here then? You Old Testament dummies, how did we get here? Because you don't believe in second Esdras. What do you think? We just like floated in the air? I'm asking, how did we get here? Because all of you guys that are, we got on ships. You, who is teaching this crap? Oh, well, you know, we're not the same people. We have. You. Hey, hold on, fam. The sound is going off. Hold on. Right? Because right now we have people that are teaching the quote unquote Northern Kingdom. And see, this is so funny, man. I'm stressing the fact that nobody really knows what tribe you are from if you are a Hebrew. First of all, none of y'all can really guarantee that you are Hebrews. None of us can. It's been so long because the real Israelites would keep records of the birth in order to keep the birth right. That's why scriptures talk about have everything in writing. So the best thing that we can do is discern spiritually if you are an Israelite, and then are you keeping the laws of God sincerely? All of them, not just the ones you feel like, oh, well, you know, let's just move on. No, man. There are laws that are taught to us Hebrews on how to conduct ourselves with our brethren. You don't just move on things. The scriptures talk about deal on every single matter, because that's how the mind works. The mind deals on every single matter, whether you want to admit it or not. So the class again is Arsarit, a deep dive. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show y'all why the Spirit has led me to believe that we took this path. Okay. That we took this path. Now, this is a short breakdown of what I did for a brethren. I'm going to call him a brother, man, because you know what? He asked me sincerely. And you asked me sincerely. I'm going to answer you sincerely. And if you are, again, the Spirit bear witness, the brother asked, hey, man, so you guys are saying this, and that. And, you know, well, I mean, I'm, you know, I thought I was a Judah. So, like, what am I? Am I Judah or what? I don't know if the brother was being sarcastic or not in his questioning, but you know what? I didn't take it like that. I give man benefit of the doubt. So this is what I explained to him in a brief sense, okay? Just letting y'all know. And then I'm going to get real deep into the actual process or walk and why I know that we went that way and not through Africa, because nothing proves that we've been through Africa. Everything proves that we went the other way. All right? Just listen real quick. All right, brother. All right, shalom, fam. Hey, listen, I'm going to answer this way because I know that, you know, the rest of the brothers and sisters are going to probably watch it and listen. So I'm going to start at 2nd Ezra 13:44, okay? And then so I can try to trim this to like maybe 5 minutes. Okay, so it says, I'm going to show you maps too, all right? So it says, I'm going to start at verse 44. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region was called Arsarit. Now we typically stop there, right? But you continue, then says, then dwelt they there until the latter times, and now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. All right. So now it says it's going to happen twice. That's what I'm reading, and that's what makes sense. Now, if you look at and consider this map here, which is from a website I have, which I believe here. Let me show you real quick. Let me just show you guys. This is from Barry Lawrence Ruderman. I guess they collect old maps. This is the one black and white. It shows Cuatro Esdras, capítulo 13, means 2nd Ezra chapter 13, at the tip of Russia, right? In the Stretto di Anain. So what that basically means in the Straits of Anain, all right? This is a colorful one, so you guys can see more clearly. And it's the same thing, Arsarit. capítulo 13, capítulo 4, versículo 13. And it talks about the 10 tribes. Okay? Now, that's in Russia. So let me continue here. It says, for the Most High then showed signs for them. So now, why do I say that we went that way? Because if you look at the actual Persian Empire, when they were free to go from King Cyrus, the Persian Empire was basically across the east, towards the east. It wasn't towards Africa. Now, it makes perfect sense to stay within the Persian Empire because then they wouldn't have to be subject to some other nation trying to oppress them. Okay? So now, when you look at all the similarities in the customs that we could have picked up, it makes perfect sense going this way. I'm in California. I got family in New York. I got family in Florida. I got family in Colorado. I got family in Mexico. I got family further down south. You understand what I'm saying? Migrations is very common for our gente. For us, we are, right? And it's very common. It's repetitive. As you can see, us right now, we're migrating from the south up to here. It happens all the time. All right? Past, present, future. Joktan, as you know, it's a relative or a grandson, I think, of Eber, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going kind of fast right now. And by the way, fam, for some reason, I didn't follow through with that. So let me just show y'all this real quick, why I mentioned it. Joktan is I believe, a grandson of Eber. Joktan is very similar to Yucatan. Yucatan. Joktan. Juktan. Jukatan. Okay? So that's why I brought up Joktan. I'm going to bring it up again. I'm saying the customs that we have now are customs that were here in this region. So let's continue. And by the way, you that claim you don't believe in One West doctrine, but you still believe that we came on boats here, show me how we got here then. Because you don't believe in the Old Testament anymore, brothers. There's people teaching this stuff that don't believe in, in the New Testament. Matter of fact, can two and two walk together? Can a lion walk with a sheep? If you don't agree? How can you say you believe in the Messiah, deal with a man that don't believe in the New Testament, deal with a man that don't believe in the second Ezra, but yet you say that we got here somehow? Make it make sense, man. This is why it's confusing, family. Y'all need to watch out who your leaders are, especially now. Want to take time? So it says here, for the Most High then showed signs for them, right? So more likely showed signs for them going this way, right? And then it says, showed signs for them and held still the flood. So that to me tells me, if you go back to this right here, it would hold still the floods there. Let me show y'all something. I think this is the link. Oh, no. Hold it. Where is it at? I have it on these notes right here. Give me a second. This is the globe of 1596 map, if I'm not mistaken. And 1587. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? Here's Israel. 10 tribes. Why would we go this way? We're not men we're not seamen. We're men of the tent. We cattle. We herd sheep, cattle. Sailors, we weren't. The Canaanites are sailors, not us. So it would only make sense to migrate this way, especially after all the customs that we picked up from these people. If you look at this, watch, I'm gonna show y'all something. I wish I would have had it up. It's my same page. Y'all are welcome to check it out, man. I'm almost done, family. I'm almost done, brother. Let me just show you real quick something. Real quick. All right, here it goes. If you look at some of the customs that we picked up from going that route, voladores, in case y'all don't know that, that's actually something that they picked up from India. See, that's in India. Voladores in India. This is something that they said from the same Mexican government. General outline of the history of Mexico. I could put the link of the book there if you want to know for real. What is called the discovery of America is the meeting of two great current races of people who, after separation extending over as many centuries, would again join after going right around the earth. You see a lot of Raramuri of Chihuahua. There's a god called Ra Ram-Uri of Shivava. You can look it up, man. Look. Ram-Uri of Shivava. Very similar. You see that? Are we saying we're Hindu? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we migrated and we picked up customs as the way to go. Mayas and Nahuas of Yucatan and Mexico were immigrants of Maga and Nashu tribes. You can read it there. It says supposedly they were related to the Phoenicians. We all know that we were in the Canaanite area, right? But there's a lot of similarities in India and Mexico. And if you look at this picture here, this is from, look, voladores again, voladores again, voladores again in India, right? Watch this, voladores again. You see this here? This is from the mysteries of the Mexican pyramids. Look at that guy sitting up with his legs crossed. Look at the snake. Look at the arms. That's Hindu. Meaning what? We migrated that way. And if you look at the maps, if you look at this here, Ayaman is right there in this section. Okay? Look at that, where Ayaman is, Arabia. Ayaman is an actual tribe in Venezuela. So again, now, when you look at the actual scripture, it says, then they dwelt there until the latter times, and now when they shall begin to come again, well, then shall begin to come. That's one thing. Verse 45 gives it away. It says, for through that country was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. So this means that they were already in that country after they passed the flood. Because in verse 24 it says, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood. So they were passed over. For through that country, there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half in the same region. It's not Arsarit. It's a region of Arsarit, meaning the entrance of Arsarit is in the streets of Anain, and the same region is called Arsarit, meaning in the Americas. Because later that says, then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come. Now, am I saying, do I know the prophecy of if we're going to come again this way? I don't know. I mean, scriptures say that the Messiah is going to make the return, but do we know what's going to happen after? We know about the wilderness. The high shall stay the springs of streams again that they may go through. So if you look at all historically, where the actual Arsarit entrance is, the region, same region. Arsarit is not America. Arsarit is in America is a region of Arsarit. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, hopefully that was clear. Okay, fam. So that's a summary. Okay, that's a summary basically of what I was trying to answer, brother, because I guess they didn't want to watch the whole class. So I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine, man. I don't mind. So excuse me, you gotta answer, right? You gotta answer. So now let's get out of here real quick. Give me a second. Let's just go to Job chapter 8, verse 8. Okay, I read this often. This is not uncommon scripture. For I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age. For inquire, meaning research, look into, find out. I pray thee. That's like, man, like somebody wishing for you, Hebrews. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, of your past, of who you are according to the Bible, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers. Now, I'm going to ask y'all, this is for One West, is the Messiah our Father? Because if y'all think that he's our Father, then you believe in the Trinity. See, the Messiah is not our Father, is he? But Job says, inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, prepare thyself to search of their fathers. The Messiah is not our Father. So why are y'all searching, running to the Messiah first, and at the same time reading Job 8 and 8? If it says inquire, search of the former time, it also requires us to look at history, archaeology. You got to. If we're masters of the scriptures, meaning masters of the law, well, attorneys,
for the most part. They're pretty well versed in several fields. They specialize in a particular type of how can I say it? I guess legal matter. You know, some deal with tax law, others deal with criminal. We deal with the scriptures of the Most High. And the scriptures of the Most High say, Deuteronomy 32:7, remember the days of old, meaning your forefathers. Consider the years of many generations, which is what we're trying to find out. What did our generations do? What path did they take? What encounters did they have? What experiences did they gain? What examinations did they go through? What growth did they require? What exactly do they expect of us? Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father. It just says it again. It didn't say ask the Messiah. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee what? Of the older, former time. See, you guys keep trying to go into this, oh, well, you know, we're Judah, or we're Issachar, or we're the northern kingdom, and we're the southern kingdom. Really? Where does it say in the Bible that you 100% are right? You waste all this time trying to find out who you are. Oh my God, I'm Judah, I'm Issachar. Is that salvation, family? Sincerely? Here's the salvation. Knowing that you are Hebrew, repenting for a fact, having faith in the fact that the Most High sent his son, the Messiah, to show us how to examine ourselves and prepare for the ultimate sacrifice, which is us ourselves too. Y'all don't think of that. Prepare. Because of the older generation, they understood that this was going to be required. This was going to be required of us. And I know some of y'all ain't going to like what I'm going to say. Well, oh, well. Unsubscribe, man, for all I give a damn. Y'all, some of y'all, and all with all due respect, I understand. That's why I did this channel, because there's not a lot of channels that really dig deep into the so-called, I don't even want to say that, to our family, nuestra gente, our people, our struggle, our sincere struggle at home, in our mind, with our families, in government, in Mexico, in Central, South. Not just here, not just about you. Oh, I'm Judah now. Oh, no, I'm Northern Kingdom now. Oh, no, does that really matter, fam? There are 12 doors, and they're all equal. And after those 12 doors, there will always only be one stick. So does it really matter right now? Why waste time on that? Oh, I want to show my people. No, that's confusion. How about show people repentance? Oh, I know why. Because there's a lot of you that are teaching that I haven't repented. That's why. That's why you don't know how to teach repentance, because you haven't repented. Have y'all realized, family, the two of you that are here, have you guys realized that these so-called teachers are not teaching repentance? Do you realize why? Because they don't know the process of repentance. They don't understand. 12 doors. Good point, brother. Hey, Eastside, that's for real, bro. There's 12 doors. Issachar's not in front of Judah or Asher or Naphtali. Todas son iguales, hermano. All doors, all equal, all one path, one hallway. And you're not going to decide which door you want to open. Oh, well, shit, man. Excuse my language. All this time, man, I'm Issachar, brother. Shoot, it's my door. Get open. Because you ain't Issachar and you ain't even Hebrew. Oh, man, that's going to hurt so much. You see what I'm saying? None of these teachers are teaching repentance because they don't know how to repent. So y'all need to be mindful. Watch your teachers. They're focusing on other things, external, carnal, being just like One West, but opposite to One West. You see what I'm saying? We go back to the ring again. Why the hell we left One West? Because they were saying 12 tribe chart, 12 tribe chart, 12 tribe chart. You're Judah, you're Issachar, you're Asher, you're Naphtali. And now we got teachers again. Oh, well, now we're not Judah. I mean, we're Judah now. You're Issachar, you're Northern. Why does it all matter, guys? It says, consider the old ways. Consider your parents. Consider where we came from. Hey, I'm going to show y'all something, fam. I'm going to show y'all something, man. That's how serious I take my classes. Because I know that y'all care about the scriptures. So I take the time to go through and study. I wake up every day at 3 in the morning, on top of the fact that I have to. I'm going to show you something, okay? I have a son who's sick, severely sick, autistic. He's getting attacked severely. Now when these classes are getting more intense, now my son's getting attacked by demons left and right. I live with that. So I have to get up at 2, 3 in the morning to watch over him, to pray with him, to stick around with him. Do these people realize the struggle that we go through? Yeah, while you're at it there trying to tell me that I'm Judah now, damn it, brother, guess what? My house is destroyed, and I have an alcoholic mind, and I'm trying to quit drinking, and I don't know how to repent. How do you repent, brother? Oh, I don't know, man. You got to find out what God wants from you. Oh, what? I thought y'all were teachers. All of this matters, fam. All of this matters. Our people are and have false image or Judah from a lie. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. Because of that seed, we still have gente within that seed. That's why I'm doing Arsarit again, because none of these people that are teaching y'all are even saying now how we got here. They don't believe in the New Testament. They don't believe in Second Ezra now because they support each other. Now all of a sudden, well, how did we get here then? Well, guess what? I'm going to remind us how we got here. Okay? It says, look, to dig into the former age, right? It says to look at your fathers. Isaiah 51:1. Watch what it says. Real quick. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock whence ye are hewn, and to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged. Are we not getting dug out of this pit, out of this hole? Are we not being cut from this claw? Are we not being hewed from this unpolished rock? Look unto Abraham your father and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone and blessed him and increased him. Why? Because he would be the man that would keep the laws of God without knowing him first. And he's our father. So we got to go back and find out, well, okay, well, what was he? Okay, so now let's go back just real quickly. I want to summarize again the 10 tribes. Second Kings 17:5. This is when we left. All right. Then the king of Assyria came up through all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. So now we see that the northern kingdom tribes, the 10 tribes, which also include Levites in there, okay, in case y'all don't know that, were taken. All right. Now we know that. The fall of Israel. We understand that, right? You go to write these down, guys. 2 Kings 17:6 talks just completely following up on the whole the siege of Samaria. 2 Chronicles 36:22. It talks about basically, matter of fact, let's read it. Okay. So then now we understand in regards to how the 10 tribes were then freed. Okay. So 2 Chronicles 36:22. And it says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished. That the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it in writing, saying, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth have the Lord of God, heaven, given me. And he had charged me to build him in a house of Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all these people? The Lord his God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem or wherever he wants. You guys can read that in Ezra 1, verse 1. All right. Y'all read it. Very simple. King Cyrus frees the 10 tribes. Okay. So now, for you non-believers that don't think that that only stick to the Old Testament. Okay. So how did we get here? Thank you. 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Now we always start at verse 40. We understand now that King Cyrus let us go, right? The tribes that are here. And then they said in verse 41, but they took this counsel among themselves. This was after time, not like overnight, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. But prior to that, Cyrus had already freed us, right? So let's look at some maps. Give me a second, fam. All right, maps. I love maps. I think maps are Best thing that's happened to everybody. Historic maps. So we see pretty much like, you know, the regions, right? See this region like this. And then we have here. This is the Persian kingdom. Okay. As you can see, when we were taken by the Assyrians, we were somewhere over here. Okay. And then as I mentioned in the 8-minute, session, I was like, yo, listen, man, we migrated. I got family in Florida, New York, Denver, Colorado, Nevada, Sacramento, California, Mexico, Guadalajara, San Luis Potosí, Guerrero, Cancún, Quintana Roo, Peru, and relatives in Puerto Rico, but not through blood, right? But we migrate often. We move around a lot. So as you can see, the Persia is pretty wide, right? And he says a proclamation among his kingdom. Remember that. Remember, among his kingdom. Ezra's 1. Now in the first year of King Cyrus of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, that stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom. So the 10 tribes would have stayed within his kingdom. It only makes sense because we already understood about the slavery, right? The pyramids over, the pyramids over here. So if we're here, and we migrate, remember, they took their counsel. So if the Assyrians were here, if they were here and they didn't want to be here, don't you think we started kind of moving around a little bit as time went on? And then as we move over this way, we pick up customs from this area, that area, and we're like, you know what? That's why they go. That's why they said this. Y'all really need to get deep into these verses. It says, but they took their counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, because at that time there was still obviously, not at that time. By this time, there was obviously much more idolatry. You got Krishna, you got Zoroastrianism, you know what I'm saying? So we're here, maybe we're moving over this way, and we're like, man, all these fools, man, all they do is worship idols. Well, we don't want that. So it says that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Now, if King Persia made a proclamation of us being free in his kingdom, why in the damn world would we walk to Africa? Somebody answer me. Why would we walk to Africa? It makes absolutely no sense if we're here in the Euphrates. King of Persia says you guys are free. We're moving around in their kingdom, but we're finding out everywhere we go, there's idolatry. Buddha over here, Krishna right here, Zoroastrianism all across the board. God knows what else. Canaanite worshiping, sacrificing of babies. That was going on. So we, among the multitude of the heathen, decided to go to a further country where never mankind dwelt. So since we knew that we were in slavery in Egypt, we at least had an inclination that, well, mankind dwelt there. Let's not go there because that's not King Persia's empire. Let's kind of go to a further country. It didn't say a sea. It say a further country where never mankind dwelt. Okay? So now, again, I'm in California, but I've been to other states. Okay? So I have family and they've come from here and migrated over there. I'll show you. I have family in the South. Then years later, now we're in Guadalajara. Then we migrate up to California. We actually went to Nevada first, my father and my mom. But then they decided to move to California, to San Diego. So it went from Guadalajara to Denver to San Diego. It's a triangle. You don't think that our gente does this right now, fam? I mean, somebody give me a yeah, for sure, whatever. Do we not migrate to this very moment? Are we not seeing our gente from South America coming over here? Do we not have gente from Puerto Rico migrating here because of the situation? Sometimes the situation is like that, right? So in this case, our familia was like, man, I don't want to be around these heathens, man. But, you know, I know for a fact that through the proclamation of King Cyrus in his kingdom, we're free to roam around. That's why when I mentioned Yucatan, well, we have Yucatan. So why wouldn't we pick up customs? Let's continue, because I'm going to show that. Then it says, then they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow place of the river. So now they're going into basically a passage, right? For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. So now they went into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So as you guys remember, you guys know this, okay? As a matter of fact, let me not get ahead of myself, because I am getting ahead of myself, so I want to slow down a little bit. But I do want to make sure that I kill some time, because this is not going to be a long class. So I'm going to focus more on the similarities. As you guys can see, Arsareth, the entrance of Arsareth is at the corner of Russia. Okay? 4 Esdras, capítulo 13, Arsareth. Now I'm going to show you a color one. The same map. This is from raremaps.com. Yeah, check it out. Excellent website, man. I have another one too. 4 de Esdras, capítulo 13, Arsareth, las tribus, 10 tribus. So they knew that this was the entrance. The Streta de Anian. The Streta de Anian. Okay? Now I'm going to show you another map. Oh, it's the same one. And I showed you this map. I'm going quick, because this is something that honestly we should know by now, how we got here. And see, nobody else is teaching this, fam. They're saying they're not one West, but they're still saying that we came on boats. Excuse me. They're still saying that. All right, so how we got this map here, you see that? Here's your Euphrates. Okay, this is from David Rumsey's map collection. You see all this land? So as we pass by through here, now all of a sudden we see what? Again, 3 different maps, fam. Arsareth. 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 Street to the Anian. Straits. Now watch this. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. So we migrated. Came all the way this way. And said, you know what? We passed through the Euphrates River. We went down this path. Why would we go back? We've never been on ships like this. We're sheep herders. Cattle. We have lots of them. We're men of tents. I've said that before. We're not men of ships. That's the Canaanites. And if you look at every single thing that you pass through here, right? And all the customs that we picked up along the way. That's why we have people that look Asian too. Because as we went by, we mixed with them. So you guys that call them us Mongols, yeah, we mix with them because we passed by through. So watch what it says. For through that country was a great way to go, namely. Now it says, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country, meaning America, there was a great way to go, namely 1.5 years. And the same region is called Arsareth. So it's America is not Arsareth only. It's the same region. You see? So the streets of Anian is the entrance of a region of Arsareth. And when you hold still the floods, it would make sense. It's 50-mile distance from there. Hey, God, family, like I live in Oceanside, right? And I don't mind if y'all know, man. Y'all are welcome. Y'all are welcome to know. I live in Oceanside. So by the beach, you can see kind of like the harbor of La Jolla, which is about 40 miles from here. I can see it. Just add 50 more miles. It's not that difficult. So the Most High, if he opened the floods for us once, well, guess what? He would do it again, because now it makes more sense when you read this. For through that country was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region is called Arceris. So if you walk from Alaska down to Chile, it takes about almost 2 years, maybe, depending on how fast you walk. Then don't they there until the latter time, which is where we're at now. Now, when they shall begin to come, ooh, what do you mean? Yeah, the highest shall stay the springs of the streams again. You see that, fam? I think they are converts, bro, from what I'm learning. Yeah, bro. I think they are. From your knowledge, the Sephardics are converts. Man, the Sephardics are not our people, and they're definitely converts, because if you actually do the history on here, I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Watch, man. I'm telling you, man. People need to do their history. Let me see. I think I have the book. Hold on. That's why I don't go around saying stuff like that. I need to get this book. Jews and Muslims, British colonial America. Okay? These are Sephardic Jews. These are Sephardic Jews, guys. All right? Sephardic Jews that are black, Sephardic Jews that are tawny, Sephardic Jews that are light skinned. Those are the Sephardic Jews. If you get the book, read through it. I highly recommend to read through it. This is going to tell you that those guys are converts. They were white looking. They're like, look, I'll show you a picture. Watch. You see, these guys have no clue what they're talking about, man. No clue whatsoever. They're not scholars, guys. Matter of fact, prior to all this so-called information and knowledge, man, people were just sticking to Leviticus 19. Let's put it that way. All of a sudden, now they're getting fed from information. Why? Who you looking at, man? Look, you see these people? Black. Moors.
Hey, fam. Hey, fam. Let me just say this real quick, man. I'm gonna skip. This is an older video, and I just want to stick to the Arthur part. But I want to show y'all this real quick, and then I just want to make sure that we just end it. You know what I'm saying? I once saw this being used. Now I highlighted the yellow. I added the yellow part. Okay, important to read in context. I don't remember. This is from. God, I can't remember the book, to be honest with you. It says Highland Heritage, the Sephardim, and the colonization of the Spanish North American frontier. Colonization. Okay. Many Hispanic families in Texas, northern Mexico, and the U.S. Southwest are descendants of the Sephardic crypto Jews and conversos. Their ancestors colonized, meaning they raped, robbed, pillaged, warred, and conquered and tamed, right? Their ancestors colonized the 16th century northern frontier kingdoms of the Vice Regency of New Spain, living in a hostile environment for 5 centuries, meaning 500 years. Well, they were living in a hostile environment because they considered us as hostile people. Many families managed to preserve their Sephardic identity and culture through oral tradition, cultural manifestation without the benefits of written record. Oral tradition is also the Talmud. So if you are a Sephardic type, a practitioner of that, then you believe in Mohammedis, then that means you study the Talmud, okay? That means you get into Kabbalah. That's what the Sephardics teach and study. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand, fam, why I don't touch too much on that subject, because it's an easy pigeon. And any pictures that I found so many that are being used to excuse that fact, and they're not. I don't even want to worry. I don't even want to use my energy on it. Let me at least get ready, get ahead of this. I just want to get to my point. Here it goes, right here. Yeah, I'll shut up now. Let me let the class finish because it's already sundown on my end. So I just want to make sure that I finish the class. All right, let's go.
This guy is a Sephardic Jew. Sephardic Jewish philosopher. Hold up a second. Get the hell out of here with your so-called knowledge of the scriptures, man. Y'all don't know the Bible. This is a Sephardic Mohammedis. Are you studying this guy? Hey, I'm gonna call you out, young kid. The Waters. Is this your king? Is this your philosopher prophet? This is a Sephardic Jew right here. Sephardic Jew astronomer. He studies the Talmud and he pushed the Talmud to the Sephardic people. Right? Y'all look him up. Look him up, fam. Well, I mean, they were converts. They're converting. They were like crypto Jews, right? Because they didn't want to supposedly it's like right now us, for example, right? You know, we go to work. You know what I'm saying? That you don't go tell people, oh yeah, I'm a Jew, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, barakatah, call halal. Look at my fringes. No, we don't go do that. It's the same situation. Yeah, bro, you gotta be very mindful. Ese es ser un estudiante, brother. When you really look at people and say, okay, I did the same thing. So when they're like, okay, so-called black people are your people. Oh, okay. Well, let me be a child. Act like a child and study them and say, all right, let's find out. I sincerely did it. I did. Okay, let's find out. Let's find out if there are our people. And when I compare them, it doesn't look like it, guys. Not based on the curses. Now, do they struggle and suffer now? What only happened after the Civil War. Okay. And if you try to tell me that the Sephardi Jews are our people, because I was told that one time 3 years ago. Come on, fam. I've been in this for already 5. And those people that say they've been in it for 10, well, guess what? Why don't you teach repentance? Teach repentance. And then we'll find out if you really are in this Bible. Because see, these teachers are not teaching repentance at all. They're teaching this silliness. Mohammedis, Sephardic Jewish philosopher, Sephardic Jew, also known as Sephardic Jews of Sephardim, sometimes referred to by modern scholars as Hispanic Jews. Why? Because these guys were basically of the Sabian bloodline and a mixture of other people. This guy looks Asian. I'm not saying all Asians are not. Most prolific, influential Torah scholars, Middle Ages, astronomer. Are you an astronomer? Physician. Born in Córdoba, in Spain, in 1138. Yeah, look him up. He worked as a rabbi in Morocco. During lifetime, most Jews greeted Maimonides' writings in Jewish law and ethics. Mish Torah, Halakha. This guy studied the oral Torah, which means, you see, the Sephardic Jews and the Ashkenazi Jews, they know each other. You can't go around trying to teach these things, guys. Then you follow Mohammedis then. Yeah, but they still practice Judaism in secret. Yeah, they did. But what I mean is there's a lot of converts, brother. Look, I'm telling you, get the book. I'm not gonna even read it because I've done a class on it. Get the book. This book here shows you. So matter of fact, let me see if I can find some. Hold up. Look, we postulate that many of the initial colonists were of Sephardic Jewish Muslim ancestry. You see that? See, and look, watch. In his work, we present a series of colonial documents, contemporary first-hand accounts, records, portraits, family genealogies, and ethnic DNA test results, which fundamentally challenge the national storyline depicting America's first settlers as white. Woo! Hold up. You see, family, they weren't all white. British, Christians. No, we postulate that many of the initial colonists were of Sephardic, Jewish, and Muslim ancestry. Who were the colonists? Who were the colonists? The people that enslaved you so-called Hispanics, you so-called Native Indians. So now you're telling me that you Sephardic, Mexican-looking nopalon in your forehead who says you don't look like an Indian, you enslaved us? So you're saying our own gente enslaved us? Where does it say that in the Bible after the breakup? You see, fam, when we run into these questions, we end up hitting a wall because now we can't answer these things. I highly suggest, don't believe me, get the book yourself. It's a PDF. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to hook y'all up, man. Here you go. Here's a link. You see? Here's a link right here. I'm going to do it twice. Here's a link right there, fam. Download it. Read it. Do like, Control F. Look at this. It says, of course, both Spain and France had already made foray in North America. Now, if you guys get the Webster's Dictionary app, which I always tell y'all, of 1928. Watch, I'm going to show y'all something. The Webster's Dictionary map of 1928. Watch. I have a... Give me a second. Gotta be patient here. This damn keyboard is new, and it's really pissing me off. All right. Give me a second, fam. It's not me. It's this damn keyboard. Look, from 1828, the understanding at that time of Swati, being of a dark hue, dusky complexion, tawny. In climates, the complexion of man is universally Swati or black. The Moors, Spaniards, and Italians are more Swati than the French, Germans, and English. What? Yes, fam. Yes. Of course, both Spain and France had already made forays in North America, founding St. Augustine, exploring parts of the coastline. What is even less frequent mentioned regards to Spanish and French settlements, the voyages, is that many of the colonists and sailors were of Sephardic, Jewish, and Muslim Moorish descent. Several of those aboard Christopher Columbus' first voyage in 1492, and famously even Columbus himself, were of Jewish ancestry. They were Jews or crypto Jews.
No manches, güey.
En serio. You see, fam? Let me see what you're saying. I'm starting to see being called into the truth. Thought YouTube is being called by the craft council. Yeah, brother. Yeah, bro. I started researching these Huguenots based on some of the research on the Sephardic. Yeah, bro. Look into them. The Huguenots. Go into archive.org. Matter of fact, I think I had hold on, let me see. I'm telling you, fam. I'm right now my computer is going through. They're doing data extraction. I'm already at $400 bill. All right. And if that's not gonna work, I may be at like 3,000. Now, does it matter a lot to me? Yeah, because that computer has all my list of all my clients. So of course it matters to me. But it all happened when I started doing these classes. Oh, it doesn't appear on the link? Okay, sis. So just go to archive.org. Look, archive.org. Go here. And then type in the name. Type in that name. All right? Here, I'll show y'all real quick again. It's called, type in the name. It's called Jews and Muslims in British Colonial America. There are several books. I have so, man, I don't want to say it. I mean, I'm boast. I have a lot of material that supports this, but once I read this, I didn't even have to go any further. So again, we're trying to teach who we are, right? So we're not those people. I'll tell you that. So now, how do we get here? We go back to the whole point. Because now we're trying to see that it seems like that we will be dwelling here in the latter time, and then that they're going to bring us back. Now, is that something that's scriptural that I can tell you 100%? No, because I'm going to dig into it. But I do know this, that we're going to have to go through the wilderness once more. That I do know. So, what does that mean? Deuteronomy 33:17 says this, just to kind of confirm, all right? Watch this, that we're going to be coming this way. It says, his glory is like the firstling of his bullocks, and his horn are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the end of the earth, and they are the 10,000 of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. Watch this. He is like the glory, he is like the firstling of his bullocks, and his horns are like the horn of a unicorn. What is that? What is that, fam? What is that, fam? That's a unicorn. Revelation 6:8. Behold, and Revelation 6:8, I'm just going to read it. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And the power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, with hunger, with death, and with the beast of the earth. Are they not doing that to us now? This is the fourth part. So now watch. Just want to show this real quick. Let's see if I can find it. America was called Mar del Sur. Mar del Norte. I can't really find it now. There again divides. I think this is it. Oh, here it goes right here. All right, there we go. Just to show you, this is the fourth part. This is from a book called Geography Rectified of Description of the World and all the Kingdoms, yada, yada, yada. Go to archive, year 1703. It says, according to the greater integrating parts thereof, the ancient divided the whole earth into three great parts, Europe, Asia, and Africa, to which is now added a fourth part. Revelation 6:8. Revelation 6:8 reads, and I looked and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, meaning this other nation of people. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. Ecclesiastes 12:12. Be warned, my son, if anything in addition to them, there is no end of making many books, and much study is exhausting to the body. You know how you know when that applies, estudiante? When you're not rooted in the Bible. That's what it means. It means to them. It exactly means to them. When you're rooted in the scriptures, that's when you technically have the spirit to teach. If you're not in the spirit of teaching, do not go into many books. Not at all. I agree with you. But it does apply to them that are still young in milk, right? Don't give people meat if they can't chew it. So trust me, believe, I've had these books for years, and I didn't read them, bro. I just reserved them. I kept them. I was so focused on studying the scriptures. And then about maybe a year ago, man, is when I started really reflecting on the material, like really getting into it as much as the scriptures. So, but I know what you're saying, brother. I feel you, man. Appreciate you. Mad love, bro. Let me see real quick. It says, watch this. So all I'm trying to show y'all is the fourth part, all right? Just so y'all should know. So at least we know what it means. Okay, now I'm going to show you this here. Now, why am I saying that we migrated that way? Because there's a lot of similarities. Let me translate this in English. I don't know why I said it in Spanish. Sanskrit, as well as the oldest documenting Indo-European language, right? So it's an old language, man. The second part of Vedic period. I guess I can magnify it. You guys look up Sanskrit. It's a language that's spoken in particularly those regions, right? Believe it or not. Look at where they're spoken of mostly, meaning the language, the similarity. Vedic Sanskrit, one of the oldest members of the Indo-European family, Rigveda, right? So now watch this. Let me minimize this real quick. I'm not going to focus on the. Let me see if I can have this. Let me see if I have this book, because it might have not stayed with me. Oh yeah, perfect. This is Hindu in America. Who discovered America? Right? It says Hindu origin of language. The same author writes, at present, we are studying the native tongue and find at least as far as the Nahuatl, Zapoteca, and Maya language are concerned, they are of Hindu origin, Hindu European Sanskrit origin. They aforementioned studies, okay? So walk with me, fam. Just walk with me for a second. Just walk with me for a second. Wonderful race from India, Professor Ramamena Kuratur, the National Museum of Mexico, in a book, Mexican Archaeology. A deep mystery unfolds the tribes that inhabited the state of Chiapas in the district named Palenque. Their wonderful works of art is perfect design and finished workmanship. Seems to say that these people were greatly advanced in recent age. Yet the writing and anthropological type, as well as their personal adornments, and finally their system and style of construction clearly indicate the remote antiquity. The arrangement of the coliform writing, certain characters, even certain objects vaguely bring to mind the Maya people. But precisely the placing in series of written blocks, by the general appearance of the writing, it is considered of an Oriental origin and of greater antiquity, that according to the Nestorian stone, more than 10,000 years. The human types are like those of India, their perfection in design, their irreproachable technique of their reliefs, the Assumption headdress, the ostentatious buildings on high, the system of construction, all speak of India, the Orient. Again, walk with me. This is page 14. The other one was page 5. Page 14 reads this. It says, when the Spaniards arrived in Yucatan, they found an immense number of gods being worshipped. Essentially, the great god was the rain god, Shak, and migrated and transformed Ganesha of the Hindu system. With him marched Indra as maize god. Around and upon these two deities arose a vast number of minor deities, earth god, rain goddess, and whatnot. It is possible that into its cultured ferment came not only great difference of ideas and beliefs from Orthodox Hinduism and Brahmanism, but from Buddhism as well. So as you can see, that's like constantly saying, man, look, there's a lot of similarities in like the gente, right? In their customs. Watch page, I believe, 15. It is still preserved in India, the ceremony of swinging young sun god in August. Remember los voladores? I showed y'all pictures of them. Page 7. Aztecs came from abroad. Moctezuma, the Aztec emperor of Mexico, informed Cortez, the invader, that his ancestors had been conducted to Mexico by a ruler, whose vassal were on who, having established them in the colony, returned to his native land in the east. This refutes the Americanist theory that Aztec culture was of American origin. Yeah, well, we know that. We know that already. Now, let me see. Let me show you something. Let me show you guys this. When you look up a map at Africa, there's absolutely nothing in Africa that is similar to us. There's no names. Nothing. I have not found anything. But I constantly find these things. Ayaman. Ayaman is a tribe in Venezuela. Chilam. Y'all know what that is. Chilam Itzi. And that Chilam is where? On the other side of the Euphrates. We see a lot of synagogues in these regions, in China, in India, and all of that, right? And we see this here. So we migrated here. As you can see, we picked up a lot of customs along the way, fam. Ancient trade routes. So if those trade routes were available, that means we would walk through those routes. Look at these routes. Look at this one. Look at that one. It goes all across. And look at that road. It goes all across. Right? When you look at Africa, there's no similarities in Africa. There's no names. Nothing. No similarities. Yucatan. Yoktan. Joktan. I showed y'all the book. Let me see if I can get it from my Facebook. Hold on. I showed you guys a book on a bunch of names. A bunch of names that are people name their cities after these names. Let me see if I can get it. Give me a second, fam. Again, I'm dealing with a new computer, so I don't have everything at my disposal. Watch. This is from the Mysteries of Mexican Pyramids. The redemption of the Mayan relief are strikingly similar to the motifs of the Buddhist country. The tree, the sun, the tree, and the serpent are three of the most sacred symbols of the Buddhist doctrine, teachings, right? Look, those who first arrived on the continent, later known to be as America, were groups of men driven by that mighty current set out from India towards the east. Hindu, America. What is this here? In a second. Let me see if I could flip it around. Can't flip it around. Sorry. Let me see if I can save it, fam. Hold up. Yeah. The name of Mexico most famous, this is from India once ruled America. The name of Mexico most famous spicy gravy, which the Mexicans like to place on meats, poultry, and fish is mole. Mole. The Kashmirian word for cream is malay. In Sanskrit, it is malai. Most regions in India have dishes resembling Mexican tamales. The tamal consists of a piece of dough or masa made of crushed hominy. You guys know that. It's customs, family. I'm just saying, it's customs. It means we were through there. We walk through there. We walk through there. So as you walk through there, you pick up particular customs of certain people. Look, however, this is from the same book, I believe. If not, y'all can reach out. I can give it to you. However, if more convincing examples are still needed, I present Pujas, Manu, Pisac, Punu, and Ayacucho regions. In Sanskrit, Puja, honor, worship. Manu, patriarch. Pisac, a savage tribe of people in North India. Puni or Pune, a famous Indian city. Ayacucho, fortunate. I mentioned Ayaman, Hirajara y Ayaman in Venezuela.